Growing out of a self-centric direction, personal informatics is getting more and more popular with maintaining individual health and well-being, but it's not limited to just these aspects in one's life, and it's becoming a more common way for people to base their lifestyle decisions off of. And in order to optimize one's current state, tracking this info is quantified and integrated to make it easier for users to understand and apply to their current state. However, some difficulties can come about when using these personal trackers, and where they start to rise is during preparation and data collection, in which the apps or interfaces can have varying levels of involvement with the user, and users tend to stray away from informatic or personal trackers if they require more effort and dedication. And in the study concerning personal tracking as lived informatics, subjects of various backgrounds and activity levels had varied reasons that motivated them to start tracking. And the purpose of many informatics trackers and apps is to provide a better knowledge of oneself. And this is seen in the term lived informatics. And whether the use of trackers was goal driven or simply for documentation purposes, I saw that this self-awareness and self-reflection was actually being overlooked by a focus on behavior and on uses that individuals may make of their personal data instead of finding its meaning in their everyday lives.
Many users, while they're familiar and comfortable with using these devices, often use them periodically or in spurts instead of consistently over time. This could be due to many reasons, and one way to dive deeper into the reasons behind the lack of consistency is to see how exactly these trackers fit into the user's lives. Each user's tracker almost has like a different connotation, as one could have gotten it as a gift, but another one could have bought it out of their own self-interest. And another way to understand how these trackers fit into the user's lives is to understand the reasoning behind why they use it. There are 5 main types of tracking the article discusses. The first being directive tracking, which is very goal-oriented and is where the user is seeking change in their lifestyle. The second is documentary tracking, and here the user is not really seeking change but simply documenting their activities, either for confirmation or out of sheer curiosity to see like the patterns in their lifestyle. And third is diagnostic tracking, which is where the user is looking for answers and they're looking for a correlation between 2 points. And the last one is fetishized tracking. Here, the user is simply doing this out of their own interest in the data and their interest in the technology. Having an understanding of both the origins of the tracking devices as well as these categories can help formulate a better explanation behind the usage patterns.
There are numerous measurements one can take when personal tracking. For example, when using an Apple Watch, it can measure your heart rate, your calories burned, distance walked in a day, and how long you stand for. And this is why it's a growing trend today. Personal tracking has even reached the social platform, mostly on the applications themselves, like Map My Ride has public platforms to post your runs and bike ride times at certain locations in a competitive manner to compete with other people who post their scores. And interestingly enough, when asked about personal tracking, people talked more so about their lives than the application itself, showing a strong emotional attachment to the activity. For most, it related to their self-esteem, and others for their pride, in terms of running times, biking, and other physical activities. But the app didn't cause these most emotions. It was their long-term goals that the apps are merely assisting for what is usually a short period of time. So it's clear to see how the apps relate to people's personal goals, and the data analysis merely is going towards the thing that they're passionate about.
Fortunately, recent digitalization has helped increase self-tracking, meaning you can kind of monitor anything, your sleep, your conditions, food, etc. at any time by anybody, just by wearing like little wearables like your Apple Watch, Fitbits, or like any type of apps that track your steps, your fitness, your women's health, things like that. For many, these gadgets aren't just tools, but instead are a part of their daily lives, helping them get through and compromising to live healthier and better lives. Even in the hospital setting, being able to discuss more than just your blood tests and to apply what they have recorded on their gadget is something that has really saved patients a lot of time and money. And although all this digital health technology has provided a lot of opportunities, such as personalized prevention or better monitoring of your health. We also face a lot of challenges and threats within. Many care providers see consumer data as an unnecessary and feel that the addition of information actually causes more complexity to an already difficult process. Some physicians raise the point of privacy and ethical concerns and a lack of regulation and how reliable it is. And even when this data is inputted into the EHR, it is often ignored and lacks broader application and reliability. I believe that there's a lack of true understanding for the patient and that more research really needs to be done on what the patient needs because everyone is different. And I believe that it can get really overwhelming. Personally, I've tried some of these, and over time it gets really overwhelming having to track certain things, and it can put you in a wrong mindset. And so I feel like in some cases it can help, but in others it's best to see what the public needs and like really seeing the public as not just a consumer, but instead of a patient and what will work best for them.